What's up, Brian Tong here, and these are Microsoft's Surface Headphones 2. The number 2 probably tipped off some of you smart people that it's the second generation of Microsoft's over-the-ear headphones, and if they look exactly like the first ones to you, it's because they look exactly like the first ones, except there's this new matte black option alongside of the original light gray, and the matte black is really nice. Now, cosmetically, you've seen this design before, and to me, that's a good thing. I like the look of them. It's this mix of kind of a modern and industrial style, and it's a Surface headphone when you see it. But I would say that the thing that I don't like about it is its weight, and that hasn't changed from the original. Now, the Surface Headphones 2 weigh in at 0.64 pounds, making them the heaviest out of all these flagship headphones from all the brands. Something like Sony's XM3's, those come in at 0.56 pounds. Then if we look over at something like the Bose 700's, they come in at 0.55 pounds. And for me, weight matters because I'm making my choice as someone who expects to travel again. And over the course of a 5+ hour trip, traveling at a minimum, it just makes a whole lot of difference. Now, on these headphones, the ear cups, they feel good, but they aren't as soft as some of the others that are out there. Also, this headband, it tends to really push down more on my head compared to Sony and Bose, even when I loosen it up. And that might be over time because of their weight, but you can feel it after an hour or so, and it was enough just to make me want to take them off and take a break. So I think that the Surface Headphones 2, they still can go a ways to make these more comfortable. They're not bad, but when you compare them to kind of some of those top tier ones, they could do some work. Now, I'm not here to pile on them, but these headphones, they also aren't foldable at all, and that means the 2s have the biggest headphone case out of the entire bunch. So I'm gonna bring it over here. This is Microsoft's headphone case. Like, look, it's as big as my face. I could bring them up, compare them to something like Sony's. We even have Bose's over here. Look at how big this is. It's freaking a monster, and that's just too much space to put in my bag for a carrying case. They really didn't change anything when it came to the physical design, except for the matte black color for the 2s. Now, I would say though, I mean, the coolest thing about the new Surface headphones is still the coolest thing about the original, and that's twisting the dials on either ear cup to control volume on the right and noise canceling on the left. It's still genius. No other headphone is doing it, and it just makes sense. I don't think Microsoft gets enough credit for just how intuitive this design is. If I had to be picky though, I do wish like the rotation on the dial was a little faster. I get that it needs resistance so you don't accidentally bump it or move it out of place, but this is my review, so I can be nitpicky about this. But in a weird way, I also found that using the ear dial, it was convenient, but at the same time, I had to change my behavior. You know, I've gotten so used to something like the Apple AirPods lack of touch controls for volume, and then you also have the not so reliable touch controls on other headphones and earbuds. So I've been trained just to go back to adjusting my volume directly on my phone. But I really, really enjoy the dial ear cup control. I think that they can make it even better, but it is special. To me, really, the next evolution for the Surface Headphones 2 is to get the touch area surface here, get it? Yeah. On here, get the surface accurate and responsive enough where I can just move my finger in a circular motion clockwise or counterclockwise to increase or decrease volume. That would be slick. And since we're here to talk about touch controls, it's pretty straightforward to use the touch controls here. Tap on either side once to play or pause. Tap twice to go to the next song. Tap 3 times to get to the previous song. That's pretty universal now. You can also just tap and hold if you want to use the digital assistant on your phone. And instead of trying to push Cortana on us, it works just fine with Siri or the Google Assistant by default. Now, the Surface Headphone 2s will also pause audio when you take them off and then resume them when you put them back on, so it has that detection. I think that's slick. Call controls are also on here, so you can answer calls by tapping twice on either ear. If you want to decline a call, you just tap and hold. And if you want to mute a call, you can press the oblong button here on the side. I don't know, you could call me old school, but I've never been able to get used to touch controls while taking calls. I don't know if it's just me, but I kind of associate my phone with phone calls, so I always just end up like picking it up instead of using the headphone control since it's almost always right next to me anyways. So if you're the same, I don't know, am I the weirdo here? I don't think I am. I'm also not wearing headphones all day long, so that's probably why I don't really use the touch controls for calls as well, but maybe you could be different. All right, let's talk noise canceling. And Microsoft touts that you can achieve 13 different levels of active noise canceling when you turn the left ear cup dial, but I'd really like to find the person that can find all 13 because it's pretty impossible. You can't hear a significant difference from each minor twist you do. Even inside the Surface Audio app, there are only 4 noise canceling settings that you can jump to directly. There's high, medium, low, and ambient sound amplified. Now, when I was rotating the dial, I can easily get to the maximum noise canceling, that's just on one end. Then you turn it all the way to the other end, which is the ambient sound amplified on the other side. But somewhere closer to the ambient sound end, just like if you twist a little more, there's an audio cue that informs you that you're hearing regular audio pass through, but I have to deliberately turn it super slow to find it, so I just really end up bypassing going either noise canceling or ambient sound amplified. Now, volume-wise, you'll be able to rotate through 15 levels of sound from no volume to the loudest level, which shows up only on the app. While you're listening to it, there's no indication, you just turn it however you like. The other feature though, in the Surface Audio app is an equalizer. That's gonna be important, and it has a handful of presets for different music genres. I would say they aren't the most diverse. They tend to focus on genres of music that are more in the highs and the mids, but you can make your own custom presets if you wanna bring up the lows and the mids more to your liking. For me, right, that's hip hop. You got even some of that chill lo-fi music. That's where it kind of excels, so I made my own profiles for that. But then also let's talk about the audio quality of these headphones. Are they good? Well, I would say yes, they are very good, but they aren't on the same level as something like the Sony XM3's. The sound just isn't as full compared to the XM3's. Those have more powerful lows and mids. They just kind of fill things out, and also you just get a lot more detail. Then when you go into the XM3's equalizer settings, then you're just talking about taking things to a whole nother level. So the XM3's are still the best sounding flagship over-the-ear headphones for me, but the Surface Headphone 2's, they aren't bad sounding. They just don't sound as good as Sony. Even if you talk about how they sound compared to Bose, if you're kind of looking for more detailed mids and highs, this is where these excel. Again, these differences are really subtle, but you can hear them if you listen closely, you match them up with different genres of music. I'd also like to lean towards the noise canceling of both Sony and Bose to be a little better, eliminating more sound. But look, when you're listening to music or watching music videos or just videos in general, the volume is gonna be turned up. You won't be able to tell as much. And I know I always have to put this disclaimer out. Everyone hears things differently, so you're gonna have to try these out for your own, but those were just my own takeaways. The Surface Headphones 2 sound good. They're more than good enough, but they aren't at that top tier level yet. All right, let's talk about some of their features here. The Surface 2s bring better battery life from the first generation with now 20 hours of battery life compared to the previous version that was said to have 18 hours. Now, I did a play test of my own with these headphones fully charged. I did 2 tests using the ambient sound amplified setting and volume set to just 8, so that's kind of in the middle. These headphones only lasted around it was just over 16 hours with that setting. Then I tried it again, this time fully charged them. I turned it on with noise canceling on. Now, Microsoft says that's the setting that they'll get 20 hours. I lasted around 19 hours and 15 minutes. So I may not have gotten the full 20, but I did fall somewhere between 16 and 19 plus hours. I think that is still more than enough for most people. But the other significant feature here is that you can connect these headphones to 2 different devices at the same time. So let's say you're working on a laptop, you're listening to music, and then you get a call on your phone. The headphones 2 will be able to manage the handoff between the 2 devices and then play the audio that has priority. That's something that Bose over here, they have, but then the Sony XM3's, they do not. So, when you look at these headphones, this is Microsoft's flagship. We know the other flagship headphones that are out there. The best way to evaluate the Surface Headphone 2s might be this way. They retail for $249. That's right? The 2 biggest changes in the headphones 2 are really its improved battery life. Sure, they made a matte black, but they're priced at $249. Compare that, we've got the Bose 700. They retail for $449 right now. Sony's XM3's originally sold for $349, but they're now $279 because we're expecting a refresh pretty soon. But if you're looking at everything the 2s can do for $249, that's just a great value. And the 2s, they still bring their innovative dial ear cup control. Again, I don't want to understate this. This is just, look, it's just so slick to just be able to go right here. Yes, I'd like it to be a little faster, smoother, but it's still great. The noise canceling, it's solid. The audio quality is solid. They can connect to 2 devices, and they have a roughly 20-hour battery life. Plus, The new ones are matte black. Yeah, it matters. Now, they may not be really at that top tier of noise canceling headphones just yet, but I honestly think that they're right there. They're just on the outside looking in right now. And for 250 bucks, if that's your budget, the Surface Headphones 2 have to be at the top of your list.